Hello, welcome to another tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to introduce you to how to create the Captain America shield that you see in the movies and the comic books. When the tutorial has been published on our site, you'll find it at News. So by clicking on News you'll find Design Tips and Tutorials, and you will find it in this feed here. What we've integrated into the site only recently is if you do come to this a little bit later in a couple of months, you find this tutorial maybe next year or whenever it's going to be, you may miss the tutorial. It may have gone through the annals, if you like, of time. So what we've put in here is a quick button here just to click here to access the blog vault, which is where all our old tutorials will be found, and we will generate more in the future, and all you need to do is scroll down and you'll be able to find it. But for the meantime, if you pick this up relatively recently, relatively soon, excuse me, then you should find it down here. As per usual, connected to the blog post, you'll find all the resources, but we'll do a quick introduction to what is in those files. Okay, so I'm just going to open up this this folder, and as per usual, you'll find a reusable blue texture that I found on Google. The final design that we're aiming towards designing today, with this kind of half-tone texture over the top of it, which I think looks quite cool, and again integrating what is currently quite trendy, that sort of flat design that we can generate using vector shapes. You'll also find the final version that we did in Inkscape, and also this package that we found actually on Spoon Graphics, which was a post that was offering out some vector halftone textures, which are actually illustrated files, and we're just going to show you how to bring them into Inkscape to give you that kind of comic book feel, which we think would be quite a nice little technique to learn to do. So getting started, we will go into GIMP, and when we move into and you finally come to the blog post and the video tutorial has been published, you'll find the GIMP file in here also, because it's missing from this folder at the moment. So let's go to Inkscape. Opening up Inkscape, just a quick introduction to the document properties. The width is 1600 and the height is 900 pixels. Background color we've chosen to be 171E52FF. FF to make sure that it's full color. If I bring it right down to 0, the document will prove, once exported, will be a transparent PNG, and we want to keep hold of the blue to give that better effect when we move it into GIMP. So very quick, this is a nice quick tutorial. I need to mention that. Really quick and easy tutorial, but the finish is really effective, we think. Right, so creating a circle and just making sure up here that the padlock is unlocked for now, because we can see the width is wider than the actual height. So we just need to make sure that it's 550 all round, and I'm just going to re-padlock it. And I'm just going to quickly change it to white for now, and increase the opacity to 100, which seems to be going like that quite a bit at the moment. So I'm going to go to my alignment, and in relation to the page, I'm going to make sure that it's horizontally centered and vertically also. Now, if we have a look at the final version that I've got here, the first sort of outside layer is red. So I'm just going to very quickly choose a relatively dark red for now, and I'm going to go into my gradient and pick radial gradient here, start in the middle and pull outwards. Now inside I'm just going to pick a slightly lighter red, and on the outside I'm going to finish with that red that I ended up with. Now this is where it gets really easy. Right click on the circle, click duplicate, hold down shift. In fact, for now I'm going to take the grid off, hold down shift and pull inwards, not so far, and then just as you can see, the second ring is white. So I'm just going to do that there, pick white, and again I'm going to just do exactly the same, duplicate. I'm going to hold down shift, pull in again, and I'm going to get my color picker, I often call it a color dropper, and I'm just going to select the darker red here. As you can see, it goes red, white, red, and we need a blue circle inside, so it's exactly the same process. I'm just going to click, hold down Shift, pull in, and I'm going to go along my colour bar. I'm going to find a suitable sort of navy blue that would work for this particular shield. So I'm just going to pull down that, make that a little bit wider, and I think that's about right. Now, auto shapes. One of the good auto shapes that comes with Inkscape is this one here, which is where we can create stars and polygons. So I'm just going to click this one here, making sure this icon is selected, not this one, and I'm just going to add 5 to here. So it means that when I create a star, and if I change that to white now so that you can see it, obviously it creates that kind of Captain America star, but it is a little bit wide. So if I go back to my polygons and bring down the ratio a little bit to say 4.5, get a better finish, which is a lot bit more accurate. I'm going to quickly just click one more time whilst the star is selected. I'm going to click it one more time and just bring it round slightly so it's straight. And then I'm going to pull that in to the middle, just using my alignment, and scale it down. Now what you may notice is that when you do scale it down, the top part of the star is not touching. So you can in actual fact use the X and Y coordinates here to get a really tight finish on it, so that it sits flush inside. So I'm just bringing that in there, and that to me looks quite nice. And my shield is pretty much done. And this is where the halftones come in. I talked about getting these halftone vector shapes off the web. And all I'm going to very quickly do, I'm just going to minimize that for now, and I'm going to open up this zip file. And what you'll find inside, if I go deep enough, is 10 different halftone textures. And I'm just going to pick one, and this is how we get them into Inkscape really easy, and you can do this on a PC as well. So all I need to do is just going to scroll around to one that I'd like to use. I'm going to use 8, and I'm going to pull it into the document and let go. It should work. Quickly pull that in. No, it's not. It's calling me a liar. Right, so another option to do that. It does work as a PC, so if you're using a PC you can drag and drop, but as I'm using a Mac for this particular version, it's deciding not to work for me. So I'm just going to go to File and Import. I'm going to go to my desktop, open up my resources file, and I'm going to go in and pick halftone 8, click Open. I'll be given some dialog settings to deal with. I'm just going to click OK. And the file is quite big, so it may take a second to come in. Okay, that's now imported in, and very quickly what I'm going to do, it's quite a large file, so it may stutter a little bit whilst I'm doing this. I'm just going to make sure that it's centered to the page horizontally, so just wait for that to go across. Take a couple of seconds, and I'm going to make sure that it's center on the horizontal axis as well. Okay, now holding down Shift, what I'm going to do is just grab the bottom right hand corner, I'm going to pull it outwards. Okay, so it fills the space and covers the whole document. It has to cover the whole document. I'm just going to delete this one so it's out of the way. It does have to cover the whole document so that we've got that full halftone effect. And what I'm now going to do is just scroll across and find a better blue. You can make this any colour you want. I mean, I was just looking at red. Could be quite an interesting finish once you put your texture over the top. Maybe not though. I'm just going to pick blue here for now, like I did in my original version. What I'm also going to do is just bring this down a little bit more to about 65, I would say, so that I can see that logo a little better. And once I've done that, I'm going to go to File, Export Bitmap, and I pick page, and I've got Captain PNG at 150 dots per inch, and I will click Export so that that leaves Inkscape. So I'm going to minimize that, and that should have disappeared. Well, I believe it's there. I'll do it one more time. Find it. Never missed it. Oh, there it is there. So I'm just going to pull that out onto the desktop. And there's my vector, which is looking very kind of too clean, unless you like this little pop art effect. So I'm now going to right click Open with GIMP, And just like in the other tutorials that I've generated so far, I am going to very quickly add a texture over the top of it, which I've chosen from Google. And in past tutorials I have talked about using the search tools on Google to make sure that the images you're using are marked for reuse. That is quite important because you don't want to be using stuff that people haven't given you permission to use in your own work. If it is for personal use, then that shouldn't really matter, but if you are doing this for a piece of work that you're going to get paid for, then you will you may get yourself into a bit of trouble, so you do have to be careful. Right, so I'm going to click this blue texture and I'm just going to drag it into GIMP and let go, and my logo sort of disappears momentarily. Now if my toolbar and my layers are back to front here, I'm going to move them across, and all I'm going to do is just go to normal on my mode section. I'm just going to pick overlay and just drop that to about 85. And then what I'm left with, once I've exported this as a JPEG, would be the final thing that we need to do. Is I will call that Captain America .jpg, and I'm going to click export. So I'm going to bring up the dialog box and you change that from 90 to 100 and click export. And if I go to my desktop, there is my desktop wallpaper or poster, whatever you'd like to call it. So thank you very much for listening. So this tutorial is probably going to go on for about 12.5 minutes. I'd just like to remind you that if you have found us on YouTube, please comment on the video and give some feedback. And also, if you really have enjoyed this tutorial or you found it difficult, either way, click on this icon here on our channel art banner and place a quick review down, telling us what you thought about the tutorial. That would be really great. So thank you for listening, and speak to you again soon.